All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's show, Florida Live. It is Monday night, 6:30. Thank you all for coming on in and participating, catching the state news, catching some of the top brass here in Legal Shield, with the best interviews in town, just delivering some amazing trainings to you folks. So without any further ado, let's get the show started because I'm very excited to have our guest speaker speak today. He's actually my personal upline and mentor. He's kind of like a dad to me, so I'm super excited to have him on the show today, and even more so for Mr. Jeffrey Lewis to interview him, right? Because we all know how much fun that could be. So guys, Florida, again, still on fire, guys, doing some amazing things, breaking records day after day, month after month. I'm just super proud and excited for everything that you guys have accomplished. I mean, continuing just to break records, folks. So again, from the bottom of my heart, folks, thank you all for that hard, continuous work that you do. But without any further ado, guys, we're going to go ahead and just slide into tonight's segment of Interview with Success with our co-host, Mr. Jeffrey Lewis, the Dynamo out in East Florida, doing some amazing things. He's one of the top producers, top recruiters in his area, and just a shining beam of what Legal Shield is for everyone. So, again, Mr. Jeffrey Lewis, are you there, my friend?
I am. How's it going, Mr. Gonzalez?
Fantastic. Super excited tonight. It's going to be an amazing show. So thanks again for your continued leadership and everything you pour into this state and into this company. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too as well. And so, Mr. Gonzalez, I'm excited to be talking to your upline, the guy that got it started for you. So we're going to dig in and get some secrets today.
All right. You boys have fun and play nice.
So listen, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I have a gentleman who literally started it all for our fearless leader, Mr. Iggy Naranjo, 50K ring earner from South Florida, a gentleman who's a bronze executive director and is a great storyteller, as they say. Mr. Naranjo, are you there?
Hey, definitely, Jeffrey. Here we are. And listen, thank you for what you're doing with these interviews, man. I caught a few of them, and they're awesome. And I also want to thank Daniel and Rebecca Gonzalez for what they're doing for the state of Florida. Incredible work. So my hat off to all three of you.
Thank you, sir. So Iggy, let's just get right into it, right? So when I read your story and I go over your profile and everything, what's interesting to me is that your profile echoes a lot of what people are going on to today. So I'm super excited to be talking to you about this. Can you share with the people that are watching today how you specifically got started in Legal Shield?
Well, yeah, I'll be very brief. And I started, what happened to me, I'm a product of I've had the service for 18 years. I was in the mortgage business, and I had a success coach that actually took me from about $80,000 a year all the way through to $187,500 was the most that I earned before everything hit the bottom. And he was kind enough and professional enough not to ever have talked to me about Legal Shield. Well, he was my professional coach because he worked for a different outfit. Turned out he was a $100,000 ring earner out of Texas, and he kept talking to me about Legal Shield, and I would get excited. I would talk to him about it, and then I would sink right back into my day-to-day stuff. When you're making anywhere between $16,000 to $23,000 a month, it's very difficult to go start this from scratch, man. That's the bottom line. And what happened was that in 2008, my income went from $200,000 a year to zero in about 60 days. Now, the worst things that happened now in COVID, but that was pretty drastic then, man. So I had no idea. All I'd ever done was the mortgage business, was totally in love with it. But I was also in love with the service. I started doing this on a very part-time basis. I think I mentioned to you, I'm the poster child how not to do Legal Shield. Why I'm the poster child? Because Coach Joe, as we used to call him very lovingly, the man recruited me and died. Okay. Wow. So I'm a Legal Shield orphan. So I was left in South Florida. There were very limited meetings at that time. And everything that you can think about how to not to do Legal Shield, I've done it. Okay. I've spent money in platforms. I spent the last $5,000 that I had in my pocket, basically with American Express Platinum, buying a trade show to put Legal Shield into a mortgage trade show, which was the last one that we had. And I think I sold one membership and it cost me $5,000. And I bought a booth and all kinds of craziness. I tried to put identity. I heard that identity theft was the biggest trend in the military. And I bought ads in all kinds of crazy stuff, man. When all I needed to do was work the system, because we got a system.
So Iggy, first of all, you dropped like 100 nuggets just then. So I need to back that up so I could draw. So first, you said you were making, $20,000 to $60,000 in a month. And
between 16 and see, my income varied. I was a wholesaler and I was a wholesale rep for a company. They lost $90 million out of pocket. They worked for 32 years, and that business requires a lot of capital, and everything they had, they poured it back. So they lost $90 million. But yeah, so they lost $90 million, and I lost a $200,000 a year job. Basically.
So let me ask, how do you, because you were at a certain lifestyle, right? You were used to that. How did you switch that to say, okay, I was here. How do I stay here long enough, strong enough to make Legal Shield work when I was used to this type of lifestyle and going to the next? How did you do that?
Well, what happened is, Jeffrey, and I'll be honest with you, I left my office. I said I earned between $16,000 to $23,000 a month. And and I left my office and I went to the Honda dealer and I bought a Civic cash. Okay. Because I knew hard times were coming. I knew hard times were coming. At that time, I had a house in the Florida Keys, which was part of my life. I had to get rid of it because of my health issue. I have a knee that keeps going out on me. It's inoperable. And Don Thompson was a regular there. So was Mr. Daniel Gonzalez. So I taught a few things to Mr. Thompson about fishing, but he can tell you about that. But anyway, $100,000 line of credit on that house because I told my wife, I don't know what's going to happen here. And for God's sakes, thank God that the bank shut me down, and that's all they gave me was $100,000. Otherwise, I probably would have lost that house too, thinking that it was going to come back. Because, when you have an industry that's $1 billion industry, you think it's going to come back, and it never did. What came back was a totally different animal. So I started doing this on a very part-time basis, and like I said, I knew the service worked and was totally in love with it. So I started doing it on a very part-time basis, doing all kinds of crazy things. One of the things that I did do, and to this day it's still affecting me, is the fact that I'm not a big recruiter, but I've been really good with sales. So I was able to basically drive the machine based on sales.
Wow.
That's how I started myself through the service, specializing in the small business plan.
So, okay, Iggy, I think that's awesome, right? And so you had the foresight to see a change coming, and you prepared for the change, and then you tried a bunch of things outside of the box. By no fault of your own, just trying to make it work.
Yes, sir.
And then you still persevered through all of that, and were able to. That's awesome. So, okay,
what happened, Jeffrey? I wasn't smart enough to leave. I wasn't smart enough to leave, and the only thing I did right is that I went to every meeting and I went to every training. That's what I did, and that is an absolute must in this business.
Okay. And so that gave you the strength you needed to kind of carry on, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can we let's shift a different direction here, right? Because I could stay there all day with you about that kind of transition. My next question is, what does your personal development look like? We talk about a personal development in Legal Shield a lot. It's part of the 10 core commitments, 10 pages a day, 15 minutes of audio. What does your personal development look like? Because you had to have that as a basis, I'm thinking, to be successful transitioning from all these things. You had success in one, now you have success in this one. So what does your regiment look like?
Well, I'm probably not the person I'm not probably anywhere near close to your ideal Legal Shield associate, if there is such thing, because I'm going to be 66 soon. Jeffrey, I work on a very part-time basis. I work a couple hours a day. I'm semi-retired. Thank God, with the money from Legal Shield, I slowly put together a small real estate portfolio, which also adds to my income besides Legal Shield, and I'm still working on getting my retirement. But basically, a lot of personal development in the form of reading, reading books, definitely books. I get up and I do a little bit of meditation and 10 to 15 or half hour of reading a good book, and that's the definite must. And I go back my story can take us a while to get through, but the bottom line is this, Jeffrey. At the age of 23, I broke my neck in a diving accident, and I became a quadriplegic. And I was told that I would never walk again. Okay,
Wow.
and I proved them wrong. You're talking to technically a medical miracle. And
Come on.
and on top of that, I married my physical therapist.
Get him, Iggy.
We just celebrated. I was showing Danny what I bought her. Since I don't have a boat in my house in the Keys anymore, I've been collecting art. I was just showing Daniel we bought what I bought her for her anniversary, but we just celebrated 4 years of and I married my fishing partner. But personal development is an absolute must of this business, man. So you've got to change before anything can change. You've got to change. So I knew that I had to change and work on me.
Okay. So that's big. I'm gonna steal that if you don't mind. You have to change before you have to change.
Jim Rohn says it. For things to change, you have to change. That's Jim Rohn. Classic Jim Rohn.
So okay, so let's get into a different round of question if you don't mind. So right now, you see what is going on with COVID, obviously. You see what's happening with where people are transitioning from jobs into new industries and etc. We're getting some feedback here, some choppiness, but you see things transitioning and etc. I think that when the mortgage and you had to make that kind of transition over the way you did, I think that's kind of the same thing that people are having to do right now. And they're having to learn a new set of skills and get into things that they're not used to. So what tips do you have for them to be successful? Because you've done it before, right? You've done that kind of transition when something's been taken away from you, you had to do something. What tips do you have, and what do you think are the most things that
basically, Jeffrey, I speak to people in the mortgage industry. They still trying to get me in there. I'll never do another mortgage as long as I live. But the bottom line is that soon as some of these restrictions on foreclosures are over, you're going to see a lot of them. What's driving the business right now is the fact that interest rates are at an all-time low.
Right.
Okay, and people are refinancing their house, and they can buy a lot more house with less money, and so forth. But all the experts tell you that somewhere in 2020, in 2021, there's going to be a crash in that industry. And the problem with that industry is very alluring because of the fact that you make a lot of money in one deal. But you see, I didn't realize that my income was linear. You work, they get paid. You work, you get paid. You stop working, and they stop paying you. And in this case here, I learned two things. I learned that there was other ways to earn income. I learned income of leveraged income. Others do. My team does my heavy lifting for me today. Okay, and there's residual income. You do something one and you get paid for life. I was not aware that those things existed, and that's what's so attractive about Legal Shield, my friend.
So basically, one thing that people need to concentrate on is that they could develop a business that's working for them when they're not.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
So
wife to go on. You can ask Daniel. We do at least 2 30-day trips a year. When this hit, they threw me off of a ship. I was in Buenos Aires. I was barely able to get home. But we do 1 month cruise at a time, man.
Wow. Yeah. Dang, Iggy. Okay.
I've been in Performance Club for 128 months and been executive director without falling out for about 8 years.
Let's go, Iggy. So, Iggy, I got another one for you. What are some tips?
If I can do it, anybody can do it, Jeffrey.
So Iggy, what are some tips that you have for individuals that are out there that that want to do the same thing? That number one, that are transitioning over right now, or that are just trying to have the same kind of success, like are just trying to qualify for executive, or just trying to. I mean, because you're living a life. That's awesome. So, what are some tips you have for those individuals?
Listen, believe in yourself. Believe that it will not happen if you don't believe in yourself. Okay, you have to believe in yourself. And in my case, Jeffrey, believe it or not, I had to and this is key, guys. You may never heard anybody tell you this in Legal Shield. I had to unlearn more things that I learned to be as successful at this. Because I was very successful. I came with a lot of baggage, man. I was very successful at what I did. But this business, this lovely business of ours, works so completely different than anything else out there, man, that I had to unlearn a lot of things before it started working. Because it actually didn't go over my head, it went under my head. You know, it's so ridiculously simple, man. You know?
So, okay. All right. So I'm gonna shift another gear because I could stay with you there forever. And I'm gonna have to double back and talk to you again, Iggy. But let me ask you something else. So here's my thing. Iggy, what's a good 30-second elevator pitch for Legal Shield? If you had 30 seconds to talk to somebody, how would you do it?
Very simple. Hey, listen, there's several pitches, but basically, look, I represent a service that protects people legally as well as from identity theft. Have you heard of identity theft? Yes. What are you doing to protect yourself? That's the standard pitch that you hear in Legal Shield all the time. Now, the business, I do a lot of cold calling, which I've loved doing cold calls to small business owners. And the business owners, I call them up or certain times speak, the Legal Shield elevator pitch to anyone is, listen, I represent a service that can be extremely useful for your business or an individual extremely useful for your family. It can save you a bunch of headaches. And what I like is 10 minutes to show it to you because it may or may not interest you. That's simple, man. Very simple. I've got a service that can be extremely useful for you and your family and save you a bunch of headaches and a bunch of money. And I like 10 minutes to show it to you because something that may or may not interest you, Dave Savula, you know?
Iggy, man, you're gonna be my buddies. You're gonna be my best friend. So listen, I got another one. What was your most memorable moment in your Legal Shield career, you think?
Well, I got a couple of them, but it's funny because we were so broke after I crashed in 2008. I had spent April of 2007. I spent the month of April in China. So first convention came, I heard, that there's this convention going on in Vegas, and I said to my wife, I want to go to this thing, but we don't have any money. How are we going to get there? She said, we got points. So we went on points. But I said to my wife, it was at the MGM, and she stayed in the room, and just because we couldn't both afford to go. So I was going to go by myself. And right before I left the room, Jeffrey, I said to her, I've been in Legal Shield for about 7 or 8 months. I said, listen, I don't know what these people can teach me here in Legal Shield, man, because I've seen everything. I don't know what I'm going to learn here. Right. So I walk over to my first convention. And when I stepped into that arena and I saw those 12,000 people, man, and they opened up with a prayer. All right.
Yes.
It completely blew me away.
Yes.
I also got to see Harlan Stonecipher, Mr. Stonecipher. I got to see him live. And when I got back to the room, Jeffrey, I knocked on the door. My wife opened the door, and I was speechless. I was like, and what happened? I literally lost my speech. And what happened was that night there was in Vegas, they don't want you to hear anything about the outside world. I started getting phone calls. There's a hurricane coming to the Florida Keys. So we had to jump on a midnight flight and fly back home. My friends met me at the airport, and we drove onto the Keys because I had a 32-foot boat tied in the back that we had to secure. And our house was right on the water. So I spent, out of a 3-day convention, I spent the first day, and it was still worth going out there for it from what I got from it. It was completely incredible, man.
That's a big deal. That's a big, and I know what you mean because I remember seeing Harlan Stonecipher myself, and I mean that was an impact.
That standing ovation that man got every time just blew me away.
10 minutes worth.
But I'll tell you real quick, Jeffrey. Another nugget is Performance Club is the backbone of this business. Okay, thank God I've been Performance Club qualified for 128 months. And what happened was that I was in a second convention. And I had sold 14 Legal Shield memberships in 1 month. And Harlan Stonecipher sent me a letter, and I thought it was a joke because I thought anybody could do that. And,
right.
And they were raffling out 2 Mustangs, and they had 2 black Mustangs on the stage, and I was getting 73 tickets because of my number of sales to go into the raffle. And that's one good shot at those 2 Mustangs, 73 tickets, man. And when I got up to my turn to associate services, the girl says, associate number. I give the associate number. She says, I'm sorry, you don't get anything next. And I said, wait a minute. What do you mean next? Hold on. I get 73 tickets. She says, sir, for you to get the 73 tickets, you have to have been Performance Club qualified, and you missed Performance Club last month. That was 128 months ago, Jeffrey. And I turned around to the guy who was with me, and I said, this will never happen to me again. And it's never happened since.
Wow. That's a big deal. I'm gonna share that story. That's a big deal. So listen, I think that's all the time we have. Iggy, we're definitely gonna have to bring you back again and talk again.
We're here. We're here.
I have a lot of fun with you. So Iggy, you have a final note for us before we let you go?
Yeah, definitely. Listen, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. It will not happen. It will never happen until you believe that you can make it happen. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. God bless you.
So ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here first from Mr. Iggy Naranjo, 50K ring earner, man of men, just an all-around awesome guy. And that's all we have for this evening on Interview with Success. Back to you, Mr. Gonzalez.
That was awesome, Mr. Lewis. Mr. Naranjo, you're like a dad to me. I appreciate you coming on here. Appreciate you, sir. Love you, and we'll talk soon.
Keep up the good work.
You know I will. You know I will. Mr. Lewis, you have yourself a blessed night, my friend. Thank you, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time to move on with the show here because we have just a couple of announcements. That was Mr. Ignacio Naranjo, just a phenomenal leader. He's been a very, very important part of my life and especially my Legal Shield career. Definitely wouldn't be here without him. So, you know, me and my wife pretty much just about owe everything to him. And folks, this is why you can't hold back. You can't not tell everyone that you know about Legal Shield and all its goodness. You don't know who it's going to lead you to. You don't know who you're going to bless. So please get out there, talk about what we do. Like Mr. Naranjo said, believe in yourself because that's half the battle. Knowing you could do it. Everything else is just amazing. The company's phenomenal. The commission's incredible. The product is just amazing. We just need you. We need you to believe in yourself and go out there and just knock it out of the park, folks. So look, we had an advanced product training that just happened this Saturday. I mean, it was amazing, this training. Miss Melissa Wilder had a panel of just phenomenal top leaders here in Legal Shield. The top brass has delivered an amazing advanced product training. If you missed it, you could catch it in Ellis Engage in your back office. Now they've broken it up into segments, and you could also catch it on your Facebook Live on your Legal Shield Associate Success channel on Facebook because they did run it live there. And again, folks, Manager Madness is here to the end of the month, guys. We still have, 5 days left? 5 days to go out and you just have 5 days left, guys, to get out there and get it done. Everyone you recruit between now and then, folks, they're going to have the opportunity to earn a $1,000 bonus when they get to manager. And you're going to get a matching $750 bonus for helping them get there. So if you ever needed any kind of incentive or fire lit under you to get moving, I got 750 reasons for you to go out and recruit like crazy, right? Because they're still going to have that 45-day window. They just need to start before the end of October. And you'll be able to take advantage of that amazing bonus that's in place for you, right? And again, guys, we're here in every region. We have trainings for you folks. It doesn't matter if you're in South Florida, East Florida, West Florida, North Florida. We got, regional directors that hold weekly trainings for you to just mingle with your local leaders, get to know them. You can build, the camaraderie there in every region so that when we go out back to, getting back to those live events, who you're looking out there for, you've made some friends already. So please tie into those. They're there for you to grow and to just, stick with all the friends that you have there around you in your local regions with Legal Shield. And again, we'll be here every Monday night, folks, bringing you a live show with the state news, with all of the incentives that, we want to make sure that you're aware of, that there's something there for you to take advantage of, folks. And again, we interviewed the top brass in Legal Shield to bring you the very best information to help you grow your business. So with that, folks, I want to say God bless you all. Good night, and we will see you next week here on Florida Live. Take care.